got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart to cheer. Goodbye, whiskey, you used to make me frisky. So long, highball, so long, gin. Oh, tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues since they amputated my blues. Lordy, Lordy, war is well. You know, I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I simply grind, evaporate, I scarce that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a train if my thirst had only let me quench, and not with Bevo or ginger ale. I want real stuff by the pail.
Welcome to Speak Uneasy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist because we are in a different prohibition era.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Speak Uneasy with your host, the bartender. Tonight's random read is going to come off of the book of Hosea, chapter 14, verses 1 through 8. A return to the Lord. O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. Take with you words, and turn to the Lord. Say unto him, take away all iniquity, and receive us graciously. So will we render the calves of our lips. Asher shall not save us. We will not ride upon the horses. Neither will say any more to the work of our hands, Ye are our gods, for in thee the fatherless findeth mercy. I will heal their backsliding. I will love them freely, for mine anger is turned away from him. I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. His branches shall spread, and his beauty shall be as the olive tree, and his smell as Lebanon. They that dwell under his shadow shall return. They shall revive as the corn, and grow as the vine. The scent thereof shall be as the wine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall say, What have I to do any more with idols? I have heard him and observed him. I am like a green fir tree. From me is thy fruit found. Once again, this random read comes from the book of Hosea, chapter 14, verses 1 through 8, a return to the Lord. Good evening, everybody. So nice to see people here this evening. According to the foxhole.app, it looks like I have 3 people here. Good evening, Kiss. It's nice to see you. 123 SKG. Good evening to you. So, we're going to do things a little bit different here. So about the first 45 minutes to an hour, since I'm streaming on other platforms as well, I think I just started YouTube streaming on YouTube today too. So what I'm going to do is we're going to review. We're going to do some study here. Okay, we're actually going to do some studying as as I stream. I want to share with you guys the Apocrypha, and I will explain that. I mean, I don't know much about the Apocrypha myself, so I think all of us are going to be learning as we go here. But I have pulled something about the Apocrypha, which translates to like hidden knowledge or something like that in Greek. So that's what we're going to be doing the first 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm going to cut off the stream on certain platforms, and then from there we'll go on to the watch party. So I'm changing a little bit of my tactic here, you know. I kind of have to do this in order for my channel to grow and other, you know, just to grow in general. It would be nice to have followers in other platforms as well. Of course, we want to get people here on the main one, which is the Foxhole, which is I would say it's my home base, because this is where I started, and it's actually my foundation. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build my own little thing here, and it'd be nice if people came over to the Foxhole, checked it out, but it's up to them. But I highly encourage, because there are a lot of great channels here on the Foxhole. But nonetheless, we are on Twitch. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube. And I know what you guys are thinking in the Foxhole. Man, aren't those the platforms that you don't really want to be? Yes, true. But in order for my channel to grow and my followership to grow, I have to go to these platforms and get people to come here. So there you go. That's my explanation. Don't think I'm some kind of traitor or something like that, because I'm not. You know, Foxhole and Pilled are always going to be my home base, my foundation. This is the platform that has built me. On top of that, you know, of course, I've been learning as I've been streaming, and this is going to be kind of hard for me too, because now I'm kind of out there where there are just people who don't agree with me too. So that might be a challenge for me, but hey, I've always said in the beginning, like, the walk with Christ in that path of Christ is never going to be easy. There's actually going to be a lot more people who disagree with you than agree with you. I've always said that, and I've always believed that, only because of the path that the Lord God or the Lord Christ has walked. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I understand I'm going into new waters, but it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Anyhow. Now I'm going to be referring to the chat room with Foxhole.app only because most of my listeners are there. So if anybody hears me talk to certain people and you're like, well, there's nobody by that handle name here. Well, it's because they're in Pilled.net or Foxhole.app and Pilled.net. So you might want to check that place out too if you're into like-minded people, as far as free thinkers and conservative thinking and all that stuff. Anyhow, I'm going to refer to the chat rooms mostly with, like I said, I'm going to be referring to the chat rooms mostly with Foxhole.app and Pilled.net. 123SKG says, just got home from choir practice, had a call, 911. One of our choir members passed out. Pray for him and pray for her and the group. Oh, wow. Are you serious? Whew. Okay. Let's do that right now. Let's have a little prayer. I mean, I'm not an articulate guy. I'm putting myself out there, but hey, this is important. This is important. So if I can just have everybody bow their heads, close their eyes. Lord Jesus, I pray that 123SKG's partner from choir who passed out, I pray that everything is okay. And I pray that you give them healing, give her healing, give her comfort, give her the strength to bounce back up, to endure whatever she had, and make her feel better, Lord. I ask this through your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. All right. I hope that was good. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really good at prayers. Hey, what's going on, WC Cranop? Nice to see you come over to the bar this evening, my friend. It was a pleasure having you in the bar last night. I hope you enjoyed the last few songs of the closing of the bar last night, man. You took me there, dude. You took me there with that that one song, so I said, "Hey, we're in this direction, so we're just going to go all the way with the direction." So, yes, sirree. All right. So, let's go ahead and get this thing started. WC, you might be interested in this. We're going to be diving into the Apocrypha, my friend. We're going to be diving into the Apocrypha. I don't know anything about it, and I'm going to be learning, and hopefully we're all going to be learning all at the same time. And mind you, this is stuff that I found. It's not my words. So I just want to be able to clarify that with everybody, okay? This is not my words, and I will share the website where I got the info from. And yeah. Anyhow, let's go ahead and start this little study before we even start the other half of the show, which would be the watch party. Okay, we'll go here. Bam. Okay, so this is where I got the information from. Sacred-texts.com. Okay. And like I said, we're tapping into the Apocrypha today. There's a lot of books in the Apocrypha. There's a lot of books. So we're going to start in the beginning. And then every Monday, as we go on with the watch shows, it's probably going to be like this. We're going to do a little bit of studies on this stuff, and then we're going to move on to the watch party. So not only that, it gives people a chance to they can come in, after whatever show they're watching, and then they can just come in and not miss the watch party as well. So it works out pretty well. Anyhow, so according to this, it says Apocrypha means hidden things in Greek. The apocryphal books of the Bible fall into two categories: texts which were included in some canonical I apologize, canonical versions of the Bible at some point, and other texts of a biblical nature which have never been canonical. Jeez, these words. They couldn't use simple English. All right, so there's the deuterocanonical Apocrypha, and then there's other Apocrypha. But we're gonna start here. We're gonna go to the first book of Adam and Eve, and I've never even heard of this. I've never heard of the first book of Adam and Eve. Nonetheless, we're gonna dive into this, and like I said, we're gonna do one section a day. We're not going to do 3 chapters or whatever. We're just going to do one section of a chapter and cut it so then we don't get overwhelmed with the information that's being shared here. So we're going to start here with the first book of Adam and Eve. It says here, The Forgotten Books of Eden by Rutherford H. Platt, Jr., 1926, at sacredtext.com. Okay. I will read. You guys can follow, or you can, follow yourself too. The first book of Adam and Eve, also called The Conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan. present-day controversy that rages around the authenticity of the scriptures and how human life began on this planet must pause to consider the Adam and Eve story. Where does it come from? What does it mean? The familiar version in Genesis is not the source of this fundamental legend. It is not a spontaneous, heaven-born account that sprang into place in the Old Testament. It is simply a version, unexcelled perhaps, but a version of a myth or belief or account handed down by word of mouth from generation to generation of mankind through the incoherent, unrecorded ages of man it came. Like an inextinguishable ray of light that ties the time when human life began with the time when the human mind could express itself and the human hand could write. This is the most ancient story in the world. It has survived because it embodies the basic fact of human life, a fact that has not changed one iota. Amid all the superficial changes of civilization's vivid array, this fact remains: the conflict of good and evil, the fight between man and the devil, the eternal struggle of human nature against sin. That the Adam and Eve story pervaded the thoughts of ancient writers is seen in the large number of versions that exist, or whose existence may be traced. I'm sorry, the text is small. And it's kind of dark right now in my room, so I'm having trouble seeing the words. So if I kind of sound like there's something wrong with me, I'm trying to read this. I'm losing my sight. I can't believe it, man. Anyhow, through the writings of Greek, Syrians, Egyptians, Abyssinians, Hebrews, and other ancient peoples, as a lawyer might say who examines so much apparently unrelated evidence, there must be something back of it. The version which we give here is the work of unknown Egyptians. The lack of historical allusion makes it impossible to date the writing. Parts of this version are found in the Talmud, the Quran, and elsewhere, showing what a vital role it played in the original literature of human wisdom. The Egyptian author first wrote in Arabic, which may be taken as the original manuscript, and that found its way farther south and was translated into Ethiopic. For the present English translation, we are indebted to Dr. S.C. Mallon, Vicar of Broad Windsor, who worked from the Ethiopic edition edited by Dr. Dr. E. Trump, professor at the University of Munich. Dr. Trump had the advantage of the Arabic original, which makes our bridge over the gap of many centuries a direct one. The reading of these books is an adventure. You will find the mind of man fed by the passions, hopes, fears of new and strange. Earthly existence rioting unrestrained in the zest of self-expression. You roam in the realms of mythology, where swiftly the aspects of nature assume manifold personalities, and the amorphous instinct of sin takes on the grotesqueries of a visible devil. From such imaginative surroundings, you find yourself suddenly staring at commonplace, unvarnished events of family life. And such a family as the first earthly family was. They had all the troubles, all the petty disagreements, and the taking sides with one another, and the bother moving and staying with the baby. That in the Total Mark family life today, you will see it when you peep beneath the overlaying glamour of tradition. One critic has said of this writing, this we believe the greatest literary discovery that the world has known. Its effect upon contemporary thought in the molding the judgment of the future generations is of incalculable value. I apologize for my reading, guys. I know it's kind of choppy, but I can't. I'm beginning to lose sight. I really am. The treasures of Tutankhamun's tomb were no more precious to the Egyptologists that are these literary treasures of the world of scholarship. But we prefer to let the reader make his own exploration and form his own opinion. The writing is arresting enough to inspire very original thoughts concerning it. In general, the account begins where the Genesis story of Adam and Eve leaves off. Thus, the two cannot well be compared. Here we have a new chapter, a sort of sequel to the other. Here is the story of the twin sisters of Kane and Abel, and it is notable that here the blame for the first murder is placed squarely at the door of a difference over woman. That is very interesting. You know, okay, so here's my little take on it, because being the old profession that I had, a lot of men would get locked up because of women issues. So that's very interesting. Let's read on. The plan of these books is as follows. Book 1, the careers of Adam and Eve from the day they left Eden, their dwelling in the cave of treasures, their trials and temptations, Satan's manifold apparitions to them, the birth of Cain, of Abel, and of their twin sisters, Cain's love for his own twin sister, Lulua, whom Adam and Eve wished to join to Abel, the details of Cain's murder of his brother, and Adam's sorrow and death. Book, was that 1L? 1L? That could be Roman numeral, I don't know. The history of the patriarchs who lived before the flood, the dwelling of the children of Seth on the holy mountain, Mount Hermon, until they were lured by Hanun and by the daughter of Cain to come down from the mountain. Cain's death when slain by Lamech the blind, and the lives of other patriarchs until the birth of Noah. Interesting. Okay, so that was like the intro of the first book of Adam and Eve. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to chapter 1. It's not that long, so we'll do like a chapter a day, every Monday. So let's continue on. So here's book 1, chapter 1. The crystal sea. God commands Adam, expelled from Eden, to dwell in the cave of treasures. On the third day, God planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world eastward, beyond which, towards the sun rising, one finds nothing but water that encompasses the whole world and reaches unto the borders of heaven. 2. And to the north of the garden there is a sea of wafer, clear and pure to the taste, like unto nothing else, so that, through the clearness thereof one may look into the depths of the earth. Verse 3. And when a man washes himself in it, becomes clean of the cleanness thereof, and white of its whiteness, even if he were dark. Verse 4, and God created the sea of his own good pleasure, for he knew what would come of the man he should make, so that after he had left the garden on account of his transgressions, men should be born in the earth, from among whom righteous ones should die, whose soul God would raise at the last day, when they should return to the flesh, should bathe in the water of the sea, and all of them repent of their sins. So that would be baptism? I don't know. Would that be baptism? Verse 5, but when God made Adam go out of the garden, he did not place him on the border of it northward, lest he should draw near to the sea of water, and he and Eve wash themselves in it, be cleansed from their sins, forget the transgression they had committed, and he no longer reminded of it in the thought of their punishment. Verse 6, then again, as to the southern side of the garden, God was not pleased to let Adam dwell there, because when the wind blew from the north, it would bring him, on that southern side, the delicious smell of the trees of the garden. Verse 7, wherefore God did not put Adam there, lest he should smell the sweet smell of those trees, forget his transgression, and find consolation for what he had done, take delight in the smell of the trees, and not be cleansed from his transgression. Verse 8, again also, because God is merciful and of great pity, and governs all things in a way he alone knows, he made our father Adam dwell in the western border of the garden, because on that side the earth is very broad. Verse 9, and God commanded him to dwell there in a cave in a rock, the cave of treasures below the garden. Wow, that wasn't too long. Maybe we can keep going, perhaps? I don't know. Let me refer back to the chats here. Let me go back to the chats because I want to see who else is out there. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Thank you for dropping the link, Kiss. Thank you so much. Man, stop talking smack to me, WC. Because you know that I don't know these words. Woke one, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the bar tonight. Thank you so much for the cookie. Thank you so much. We're doing a little bit of this before we even get to the watch party, because I don't know. I've heard about the Apocrypha. I don't know what the Apocrypha is, and now that I'm kind of diving into this with everybody, so we're all gonna learn about this stuff. WC says, Pharisees and Sadducees writings always remember command, thou shalt not add or take these commandments, and they were guilty of this breaking of commands. Okay. We're just going through this. I don't know if this has any validity to it or not, but this is just something I just delved into. Forest friend, good evening. Thanks for coming to the bar. Good evening. Happy to be here with yous. Thank you so much. DJ Krisu, what's going on? Half a day, my friend, my brother. We're just diving into some God talk, man. Some God talk. That's what we're doing. Woke one, we're reading the Apocrypha. We're reading the book of Adam and Eve. The first book of Adam and Eve. Apparently, there were a bunch of books taken out from scriptures that were hidden, I guess, quote. I'm doing air quotes, hidden. So that's kind of where we're going at right now. Yeah, we're diving into books that were taken away from Scripture. I mean, supposedly. That's my understanding. WC says, heck, not even going to try to spell it correctly. Hippocrates? I don't know, my friend. I don't know. Anyhow, very nice to have everyone here. DJ Cruz says, can't stay too long. Just wanted to say hi. Well, I appreciate you even seeing your name up on the chats. Thank you for coming by. You know that I'm on Twitter and Facebook Live. Now I'm on apparently I put myself on YouTube as well live. So I'm live on those other platforms too. If you're not able to like stick around here, I'm just letting you know. Okay. Dude, I so forgot to do that. Okay, let's go back here. Where was the reading at? Was it this one? Yes, it was this one. Okay. Let's go to chapter 2 because that didn't take too long. Let's continue on. Yeah, we'll probably is chapter 3 long? Okay, we'll stop at chapter 3. So right now we're at chapter 2 because chapter 2 is so short. All right. Chapter 2, Adam and Eve faint upon leaving the garden. God sends his word to encourage them. But when our father Adam and Eve went out of the garden, they trod the ground on their feet, not knowing they were treading. Verse 2, and when they came to the opening of the gate of the garden and saw the broad earth spread before them, covered with stones, large and small, and with sand, they feared and trembled and fell on their faces from the fear that came upon them, and they were as dead. I'm assuming this was after they got banished from the garden, or when they left. Verse 3, because whereas they had hitherto been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees, they now saw themselves in a strange land which they knew not and had never seen. And verse 4, and because at the time they were filled with the grace of a bright nature, and they had not hearts turned towards earthly things. Verse 5, therefore had God pity on them, and when he saw them fallen before the gate of the garden, he sent his word unto Father Adam and Eve, and raised them from their fallen state. Chapter 3, verse 1. God said to Adam, I have ordained on this earth days and years, and thou and thy seed shall dwell and walk in it, until the days and years are fulfilled, when I shall send thee. Pardon me, I need a drink. By the way, I'm not drinking a cocktail tonight. I'm having my usual, what I do on every Monday night is hot Japanese green tea. So cheers to everybody out there. If you have a drink, that's cool. If you have a cocktail, that's cool. If you're drinking something, that's cool. But let's tip glasses and cheers, and here we go. Okay, I needed it because my throat needed some all right, let's continue on here. Word that created thee, and against which thou hast transgressed, the word that made thee come out of the garden, and that raised thee when thou wast fallen. Verse 2, yea, the word that will again save thee when the 5 days and a half are fulfilled. Yea, the word that will again save thee when the 5 days and a half are fulfilled. I'm assuming that would be the work days, right? I'm assuming that's the work days. Verse 3. But when Adam heard these words from God, and of the great 5 days and a half, he did not understand the meaning of them. I don't understand the meaning of them. Verse 4. For Adam was thinking that there would be 5 days and a half for him to the end of the world. Verse 5. And Adam wept and prayed God to explain it to him. Verse 6. Then God in his mercy for Adam, who was made after him, his own image and similitude, explained to him that these were 5,500 years, and how one would then come and save him and his seed. Verse 7. But God had before that made this covenant with our father Adam in the same terms ere he came out of the garden, when he was by the tree whereof Eve took the fruit and gave it him to eat. Verse 8. Inasmuch as when our father Adam came out of the garden, he passed by the tree, and saw how God had then changed the appearance of it into another form, and how it withered. Verse 9. And as Adam went to it, he feared, trembled, and fell down. But God in his mercy lifted him up, and then made his covenant with him. Verse 10. And again, when Adam was by the gate of the garden, and saw the cherub with a sword of flashing fire in his hand, and the cherub grew angry and frowned at him. Both Adam and Eve became afraid of him, and thought he meant to put them to death. So they fell on their faces and trembled with fear. Verse 11. But he had pity on them, and showed them mercy, and turning from them, went up to heaven, and prayed unto the Lord, and said, verse 12, Lord, thou didst send me to watch at the gate of the garden with a sword of fire. Verse 13. But when thy servants, Adam and Eve, saw me, they fell on their faces and were as dead. O my Lord, what shall we do to thy servants? Verse 14. Then God had pity on them, and showed them mercy, and sent his angel to keep the garden. Wow, man. So, okay, let me just finish this. Verse 15. And the word of the Lord came unto Adam and Eve, and raised them up. Verse 16. And the Lord said to Adam, I told thee that at the end of 5 days and a half I will send my word and save thee. Verse 17. Strengthen thy heart, therefore, and abide in the cave of treasures, of which I have before spoken to thee. Verse 18. And when Adam heard his word from God, he was comforted with that which God had told him, for he had told him how he would save him. Okay, so this is pretty. So I'm beginning to realize, man, God is very patient. Like he gave specific instructions to Adam and Eve, and even though that they were confused and stuff, he still had a lot of patience for them. So, I don't have much patience, especially when it comes to my kids, especially when it comes to my daughter. I lose my ish real fast. So this is probably telling me, like, look, dude, what I need to do with my daughter, I just need to explain and just be patient with my daughter and just take it step by step. So I'm actually taking something out of this for me. Like, my patience is bad. I just don't have it. So now I can kind of hear God through this message saying, yo, dude, you need to just have patience with your daughter and explain to her what needs to be explained, even in the simplest forms. And even if she still doesn't get it, have patience with her and keep on explaining, and she'll get it. So that's kind of what I'm taking it for right now. Wow. You see how these things work with me? Like, I'll read something and I'll be like, yeah, God's giving me some kind of message, because I kind of had it in for my daughter today. She was giving me so much. She was just giving me some. Oh man, we're gonna have some amateur minute here. We're gonna have an amateur minute. Pardon me first. Okay. I apologize for that. Anyhow, let's go here. Anyhow, that took up about a good 45 minutes there. Let me go back to the bar. But so my daughter was giving my wife a lot of BS today. And like, it got to the point where getting mad at her it wasn't going to lead up to anything, because I'd always get mad at her and she'll be doing the same stuff all the time. So I said to her, hey, and I had a one-on-one with her. I said, hey, can you honestly tell me what's going on with you? Because you seem to be like, even though you get punished, like, you're still reverting back to the old ways of how you're still reverting back to the bad you. So she finally opened up and said, yeah, Dad, you know what it is? It's, nobody's playing with me. When I'm in the house, and okay, she's homeschooled. So a lot of the kids that she plays with goes to school. And when she's available to play, it's almost late for her to go play outside because it's dark. But part of it is her. Like, she doesn't do her homework like right after school, because she's homeschooled for only 2 hours in a class. Like, her school time is 2 hours, right? And I keep telling her this. I'm like, look, dude, if you dedicate 2 hours after your 2 hours of school, because it shouldn't take more than 2 hours to finish homework. It should not. Unless you're in college, like 2 hours for, like, I don't know, third grade. Is that third grade? I don't know. She's third or fourth grade. I forget. Which is bad, I should know what grade my daughter is. But I'm just saying that, look, dude, at your age, they're not going to give you a bunch of homework like they do in college. It takes days for you to finish homework for college, but for elementary school, like, you should be done in about 2 hours, right? So I always explain to her, I'm like, look, if you finish your homework like right away, as opposed to just messing around the whole day, because what she'll do is she'll do a little bit here, she'll mess around for hours. And when I say mess around, I'm like, she just lays down and plays with the dog, and like, she's not completing her work right away so she can have the whole day off. So I have to explain to her again. I was like, look, dude, your friends, they go to school from, like, I don't know what, 7 or 8 till 3. And you only go to school for like 2 hours. And then if you add another 2 hours to that for homework, that's 4 hours. And like, you should just finish your homework within the time that I'm giving you, so you'll be able to play with your friends when the sun is still out. Because her friends will be knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell at around, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock. And she starts saying, well, they don't have homework. I said, well, do you want to be in school for like 8 hours? Because they're in school for freaking 8 hours. So my point that I'm getting at here is that I have to start having patience for my daughter, no matter what kind of ish she gives me. even if it takes for me to keep explaining the same thing over and over and over again, I have to have that patience. And that's what I've gotten from that message of that read. That's how I determine a lot of my messages from God's when I do my random reads. I read the stuff, and then I say and I try to apply it to either my life or what's going on around me, right? As far as like current events. And there have been straight up moments on my random reads where God is like directly like talking to my face, and it just freaks me out. And it could be either pertaining to my particular life, or my life in particular, rather, or even current events. I'll be like, dude, this is like happening right now. Which is why I encourage people to like, and look, I don't do the whole social media for people to get popular. I don't do that. I use it as it should be used. I use it to try to expand my show, and also to share whatever random read I do every day. Because spreading the word, I'm doing it. I'm doing as much as I can to spread the word. Now it's up to people whether or not they want to follow and then see what I put out there and take it for what it is. A lot of people don't do that, because I notice I'm not complaining that a lot of people don't follow me on social media, because I really don't care about social media. I'm using it as a means of what it's supposed to be used for, which is for me to spread the word out. And it's not a popularity thing for me, because I don't want to be popular. I really don't. But I do want to be able to share what God is giving me, so I can give to you. You get what I'm saying? I was never one of those guys who wanted to be popular. I was infamous when I was in high school. I wasn't famous, but I was very infamous. I was very hated. I had very, very few friends. Very few friends. But I had a lot of enemies. I don't know why. But my point is that that's how I use the Word of God. When He presents it to me in these random reads that I have, and it's not every day that these messages come through, because sometimes the message could be for somebody else. It's not for me sometimes. But I'm explaining how I determine what God is saying to me for the day. And I want to be able to share that with you guys, because part of my journey here is to help you guys connect that bond, either your first time bonding with God or finding God, or even to reconnect you back. Because let's face it, a lot of us, I'm pretty sure that there were people who had strong faith and kind of broke away from that for whatever reason. It could be whatever reason. But I'm here to tell you that, look, like through my experience and the way I look at things, you might be looking at things wrong and blaming God for things that you shouldn't be blaming Him for, because God doesn't He doesn't make people's lives miserable. He doesn't. We kind of do that on our own. So I'm here to just kind of connect people. That's all. I'm here just to help connect with people, share my life experiences, hopefully motivate you to get into that. So I know I'm babbling a lot, and I know we got to get into this this watch party here, but yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to get to. That's kind of where let me get to the chats here. Because I think I'm falling behind. I don't know. I don't think I have much people here anyway. But anyhow, let me just see what I got here. Kiss is asking, DM links later when you get a chance. Don't have them all. Don't have all. Okay, I got you. Yeah, when I get a chance, I definitely will. WC says they are leaving. I think you're referring to Adam and Eve. Crane Up, thank you so much for the gold pills, my friend. Thank you so much. The year 325 AD, First Council of Nicaea, Constantine decided which to toss and keep. Yeah, I remember you having this conversation with me, like person to person. In pardon me, I'm just full of like gas stuff in my stomach. I'm sorry, I need a drink. Okay. Yeah, I remember we both had this conversation because although I went to a private Catholic school, I didn't pay attention to stuff. And besides, they didn't even teach anything in the Bible. They didn't. And this is all new to me. So I'm learning as I go. And I don't understand why they have to pick certain things why can't everything just be there? You know what I'm saying? I kind of get it if there's stuff that may not be true, but I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know. I'm just tossing it up in the air like, okay, I don't know. DJ Chrisu, thank you so much for the cookie, and thank you for stopping by, my friend. SKG with the can, thank you so much. WC says Aleph and Tav, or Alpha and Omega, the word was sent, what was made flesh and dwelt among us. 123 SKG says, in the beginning was the word. Absolutely. I believe that was the word. I believe that was the first word, because when God said, this is, I'm creating this, and it just appeared. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Aleph, Tav, beginning and end. Okay. WC Cranop says, in first 5 books, Torah, Aleph Tav is written thousands of times, undeciphered in those first 5 books. Interesting. Every time you see the capital words God or Lord replaced with Yahweh, Yad He Vahe, yeah. Okay. 123 SKG says Adonai. Jewish Babylonia, just translate as Lord. He was talking to 123 SKG. Kiss, thank you so much for the cookie. Thank you so much. WC says, oh, please, brother. Gots to fit the narrative. Same yesterday as today. 123 SKG says, it has been a while since I have delved into the historical aspects. Well, that's what we're going to start to do, man, because I really think that, we're doing a lot of truth digging with all these politicians, but how about truth digging in the actual what created this whole earth and everything like that? Like, we have to dig for these things too. We have to, because although we may dig about all these people, like, we need to know why it's come to this, right? Or so we don't repeat it. And we also need to know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my what, but I think this is of importance. I really do. That's just me. All right. So it looks like we're heading to the first hour down. So what I'm going to do is I am going to kill the stream on the other 4 platforms, because if you're interested in, there's nobody in the other platforms anyway, so who cares? So I'm just going to go ahead and turn those off. But if you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome to, if there's anybody out there, you're more than welcome to join us on foxhole.app or pill.net. So to you people out on the Twitch land and on Facebook Live, on Twitter, and at YouTube, if you want to join us, come over to the foxhole.app or pill.net. Good night to you guys. And if there's anybody listening, because it's saying here 0, but I don't know. There could be somebody. You'll never know. So I will kill the stream off of Twitch and the other Twitch, Twitter, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Give me a minute, everybody.